Warm up.
Yeah.
Oh my God, WandaVision. Oh my God.
It's
Oh
so
my
hard
God.
to start the episode. I'm still thinking.
I really think that's the villain.
Yeah, and that's, I mean,
It seems like the most likely one.
but it doesn't explain everything, or at least the degree of changes. Because your theory only works if, like, it was a different location, right? Because that was like a different thing.
But that could explain the quarantine.
So it's like it's a crossing over.
It's a
Bubble?
reality show. See, the term even works. Oh my God, WandaVision was such a great episode. But yeah, that's not the episode topic for tonight.
Yeah. Oh my god.
We should set up and see who is joining the stream.
Yeah, I'm like doing links first, but I'm still thinking.
Oh my God, WandaVision was so good.
That's why we're late. We had to finish like the last
Hey David,
X minutes.
can you make alak out of alcohol talk? Well, if alak is alcohol and talk starts with a T, so talak ng talak, it's alcohol talk.
Oh, are you proud of yourself?
But oh my God, WandaVision. Oh my God, hey Karen. Travis has liked it. I don't know if he's watching. I hope he is. But yeah, we are officially starting in a few minutes. We're still overwhelmed with how good the 5th episode of WandaVision was. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yes, David. It was such a good episode. And it's hard to talk about it because we know we have friends who haven't started. We know we have friends who
Yeah,
haven't
it's not
gotten
even about seeing the latest episodes who haven't started.
So we
the
don't
show.
want to spoil. We don't want to ruin. But it's so good. Oh my gosh.
Who are you kidding? Even with the show we're a year old, we're still not gonna want to spoil it. It's like Toby has a theory, or at least a kernel of, or a direction to take things into. You've been thinking about it since early in the show, I'm sure, because you're that person.
Yeah. But kind of makes sense. I mean, all we need now is someone with multiple arms to show up, and it's all gonna fall into place. But reality shows. That's such a good term.
But it's not. But in the end, it's a sitcom.
Yeah, but he did all these types of shows anyway.
I know, but you're as much as reality show is amusing, but this is not a reality show.
Yeah. Not for them. Oh my gosh, WandaVision is so good. Okay, so we are here to talk about stuff. So should we get the bottle out for this?
I don't know, guys. Because I'm still trying to figure out WandaVision. I have a running, then like my running concept for like the commercials, I think is
the commercials.
The commercials make sense.
You were spot on with the commercial idea.
My commercials angle is good.
Yeah.
Okay. That seems viable.
And it now scares me what the next 2 commercials will be.
Yeah.
Because if that pattern is correct, then the next 3 commercials will relate to the last few.
Yes.
And then the commercial after that will be like,
yes.
Oh my gosh. We might as well try to start and take it from there.
Okay. And there's not many people, so I don't feel obliged to drink yet. So
this is Toby.
And this is Rocky.
And if it's your first time here, welcome to Baduy Pride, a little space on the internet where we talk about anything we want.
This is completely unscripted and not entirely accurate, but at least it's honest. Join us as we talk about everything and anything random live.
And if it's not your first time here, thank you so much for joining us again. Tonight's episode is all about alcohol and drinks, but we are so raving over WandaVision. We are so tempted to talk about it. Hey, RJ! But we know we shouldn't. We know we shouldn't.
Hi, Andre.
Hey, Andre. So yeah. Uh. Uh. Ah. Because it's that villain from Powerpuff Girls. That's who's in my head right now.
Wow, that I guess that adds up for you. Sure,
Hey,
that's a
Mitch.
weird way to approach it. Hey, man.
What's with the commercial? RJ. Oh, Rocky has such a great thought as to what the commercials mean. It's all about that. So yeah. Ah! I like I like Hex. I like that nod. That nod was a good nod.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. We have to
Hi,
change.
Pico.
We cannot
Hi, Karen.
we cannot the spoiler sharks and chicken will hate it if
Why
we
is the chicken still in the shark's mouth?
they will hate it if we spoil the show for others. So yes, RJ, we will PM you or maybe we'll chat later. But for now, we shall focus on today's topic. Right, sharks? Okay. Today's topic is all about alcohol. And there was no alcohol in that episode of WandaVision.
Toby put this in. No, there was. She was looking for the. Yeah, there was. So we're lost. No.
Yeah, so we chose this topic because we were thinking it's a Friday night. It's a nice topic to just talk about stuff that many people can relate with.
We should have just watched Busted. That would have been simpler and more contained.
No, because admittedly, that was a really good
It's a really
episode.
good episode.
Because it had.
Actually, episode 4. It's like, starting episode 4, the curve is exponential.
Yeah, and it's still giving so much without giving too much.
Yes.
And that's what I really love about it.
Mm.
Yeah.
And it's like harder to puzzle through than early Legion. And Legion was deliberately mindfucker.
Well, yeah, Legion was really it really had a level of insanity. Because that's what Legion
But
is about.
but that this show
Has that consistency
without going in that direction.
Yeah, and even the bang bang moment was a complete that makes sense. Anyway, let's go back to the topic.
We're
for
drunk
tonight.
on WandaVision. All right.
Yeah.
Andre has an
alcohol.
easy prompt. What was your first drink?
First drink. Okay, I think my first drink ever that I do remember was whiskey.
Wow.
Because it was a New Year's Day celebration.
Hi, Kenny.
And you know how in my family we'd have those tables outside where everyone shows up.
Yes.
It was New Year, and of course the dad and friends were all drinking, and then us younger ones would be like, Coke and stuff, and try it, and took a sip, and felt like I drank a lighter, a matchbox, just given that nitrogen aspect to it, and I thought back then I would never appreciate whiskey again. So it wouldn't be until a few years later that I would start drinking beer. And when I did start drinking beer, boy, did I start drinking beer. It was, drunk, face down on the gutter. It was people needing to give me a shower because I was lying on the street. It was the group of us stripping down to our underwear because there was a storm raging. So we stripped down, and then in the half court of the house, we were sitting in a circle, and we were trying to see if we could will lightning to hit the center of the circle. We were that drunk. Yes.
That's concerning.
But admittedly, although this is going on tangent already, it was always we enjoyed getting drunk, but not super drunk.
Okay.
Which is, I think, a topic that we will touch on in this alcohol episode.
I guess. I mean, like, I guess I can't officially remember my first my first drink was a beer. I'm just trying to figure out timeline. I'm pretty sure my first official drink was one of those Christmas dinners, and classic that dad was like, "Hey, why don't you try a beer?"
Yeah. There's always that.
It's always that. Yeah, that your
which
dad,
maybe we should have mentioned in the milestone episode, one of the previous episodes.
First alcohol
about your father or your father figure, whether it's an uncle or any older neighbor. Try mo.
Yeah, and I had it was definitely a San Miguel, and then I was not impressed. Like, What's the hubbub about this? And by that point, in all honesty, I had already tried Cali Shandy.
Mm.
So then it was like, I like Cali Shandy better because it
Mhm.
had more sugar. So
And Cali
yeah.
Shandy had that nice fuzz effect on your nose that while you're drinking it, there's that feeling. That's because of the bubbles and all, the fizz. What?
Wow, I never thought about the fuzz effect on
Yeah,
my
it makes you want to
nose.
lick your nose. Never mind. So,
One day we could also do an episode of why I think Toby is a dog.
no, I'm not.
See, whimper.
Gia, I didn't drink with my tongue. So,
But you have.
I'm trying to learn that now. The scooping. Okay, so in terms of comments, Kenny shares first drink he had was the bar with iced tea back in high school graduation party. It was a dare to chug down a full mug of it, and they were shocked he could handle alcohol well.
I don't know. The bar is not that strong,
Well, it is if
but
you're
it's
new.
good. Yeah. It's still vodka, but it was like super flavor. Man, the bar was fun though because it was pretty practically a mixer,
Mhm.
and then it was
Urim
pretty
share.
convenient.
Hey, Urim.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know this earlier. And Pico, nice to see you're back
Yeah.
after so long. What else? You guys can do send in your shares as well on what your first drinks were.
So are we? Yeah. So then, like, so we're talking about first drinks. Okay.
So what was your first drink by choice? Like, went out to a bar or we're drinking with friends and like, what do you want? And then
Beer.
you asked for beer.
It was after high school graduation, and we had all gone to Fontana together as a last
Mhm.
like class outing. And then it was one of those resorts with like its own like restaurant bar area. And so we went to the bar, and then I know I ordered like I ordered beer, but then ultimately I also ordered like these test tube sugar
The
shot
shots.
things,
The shots, yeah.
which was interesting, different,
Mm-mm.
but not economical. So, but hey, high school they're drinking things. So,
Do you remember what beer?
I'd always order San Miguel. I was always ordering
Even
San
at the
Miguel.
start.
Yeah.
You never started with pale.
No,
I started.
and
with
I
pale.
started with. I think I started with lights.
Yeah, I
started
started
with
with
lights.
pale, but I think that's because of time and
I don't
not
think
product.
light existed when you were drinking, and then
Yes.
mine was like it's a new product. It's like
Yes.
ooh, light beer.
But I do remember more being into kegs than pale pills and bottles
Mm.
because there was the chance to order kegs from I think it was Paddy's Point.
So Mitch first chose Red Horse. Karen also had the
Anyway,
sip from an uncle during a
Mhm.
family gathering. And then Andre says he was 5 years old and thought it was iced tea.
interesting.
That's terrible iced tea.
In my early alcohol drinking, I had my share of the test tube experience.
That was really a thing, though. These
Back-
test tube
back
shots,
then-
and it was like you had to drink them in sequence, and like sometimes one is like tomato juice.
So there's the test tube shots, but there's also the people who walk around with the test tubes.
Okay, I wasn't in like a bar like that.
That's what I experienced.
Or was it?
So that was
Is
in,
that how I got
that was in
one?
Paddy's
I can't
Point,
remember.
and a few other bars were in. So in Paddy's Point, they had drinks that they'd share on stands, and it was usually this green. Was Paddy's Point, green drink. The other place would be the shop like type of drinks and bars.
Oh, did we lose anyone? We got an error prompt that some of the connections may not be great. YouTube still seems to be
I
moving,
still see you.
but we're also staring in the past. Facebook seems to have
Facebook has
stalled.
frozen. You know why? Just because Wanda doesn't play. No. Yeah, YouTube is still moving.
Yeah, but my network strength is like full. Anyway,
Facebook is dead.
okay. Then Mitch said she moved on to cocktails and liked that more than beer. And like cocktails are fun. And I think we'll segue into a whole bunch of that. Urim was already 24 when he had his first drink, and technically you shouldn't be drinking urine.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that you were that old given your background.
Yes.
So it's understandable that you didn't start drinking until much later.
Wow, Noel also had he got a drink when he was only 6. What the
Mm.
hell?
Because there's a lot of that, the kids curious, and it's always an amusing thing for the older people to. So yeah, try it out, and then the reaction of
I guess my family never let me do that.
Mm.
Although I had rum cake early and like a beef stew with red wine in it, but that's about as far as we went. And technically that would boil off the alcohol, so
Okay, so going to that tangent,
okay.
so alcohol present
food.
in food.
I love rum cakes.
So rum cakes, I loved. Spiked fruit cake, I still did not like.
But okay, do you like fruitcake?
No.
Then I don't think the spiking is going to fix that problem.
I hoped it would, but it didn't. And then there was this.
Which is also rum, right? That's also what you put in
Yeah,
the fruitcake.
I think there was a cheesecake that I had because it had these cherries and it had this really strong alcohol aftertaste, which I did not care for.
And it's like, is eating Black Forest and fruitcake as a kid considered drinking alcohol? It really depends on the preparation. I think your average Black Forest, especially like a red ribbon one, has no trace of alcohol in it.
Mm-hmm.
And then fruitcake, yeah, it still depends because the rum makes it more expensive.
And then isn't the alcohol in Black Forest merely the alcohol that was contained in the cherries and not the cake itself? Because the cherries are.
But you know, ultimately, a lot of alcohol used in cooking loses the alcohol edge because it burns off, right?
So what's it for? I mean,
flavor pa rin. Because you still get the
leaves
flavor of the wine and stuff.
but it just doesn't have the alcohol.
You don't have the alcoholic content. So I think in most cases it doesn't apply as much. Cake retains it a bit more, but you're not gonna get drunk on rum cake.
Well, I guess the question was given you were a kid, so maybe resistance is lower and this and that. Does
First
cooking
drink,
with wine count?
That's what I was saying. Typically, it boils off the wine, right? I'm checking.
Or does that only happen for a flambe?
No,
type of
it
dishes?
Okay.
So according to foodnetwork.com, so the Mythbuster, sorry to spoil the party, but here's the real deal. Simply heating alcohol or any other cooking liquid does not make it evaporate as
The
quickly.
child's allowance in a candy store. But the longer you cook, the more alcohol cooks out. But you have to cook food for about 3 hours to fully erase traces of
So
alcohol.
there is still alcohol.
Yeah, but that's why. What typically when I would have it, especially when it's like reduced and whatever, it was a slow cooked stew, cooked over a day. So then it really would go away.
But for others, I guess it gives that small tinge
that
feeling.
Tingling sensation. Okay. Chocolate with liqueur inside. Oh, I've never had chocolate liqueur.
Okay, I've had those. They were mostly rude moments because those tend to be the chocolates that look like wine bottles.
Oh, okay.
And then when you eat it, there's a part that's hollow, so it suddenly breaks open and all the block comes out. And they're rude because they don't. How do I explain it? It's not like you eat it and then it nicely gives you the alcohol.
It's a shock of alcohol.
It's a alcohol. Splack in the
Hi.
mouth. So it's not. It's not xiaolongbao.
Toby's very particular about how these flavors are supposed to blend together.
Yeah, it's not xiaolongbao. It's more like you ate a burger you microwave and the frozen part is still in the center.
Oh, Mitch had spiked gummies with red wine.
Oh, I like those, but they're terrible long term because the gummies make you poop.
Oh, there is weird, and this is like super fast forward. There was in terms of alternate forms of alcohol, which seems to be where we've shifted to. One of the early white parties at Malate, there were people serving tequila pops. So it was basically an ice pop that was tequila, and ice creamy, and then you eat it. Oh, it's
terrible
tequila.
taste. Yeah.
it's just very cold tequila.
Yeah, I felt that the dessert alcohol creations were always best if they were like shots. So like there was those spike jelly.
Mm.
So you and it's gone. But since you ate it like a shot, you don't have that lingering alcohol
But
in
okay,
your
but
mouth.
what about, remember, was that El Fab, that ice cream place
Mhm.
in the south? And then
Mhm.
they had like a beer flavored ice
Yeah,
cream and things and stuff.
but it didn't feel like you're drinking alcohol. It just
It had the taste
and
of.
smell.
Mm.
Which even naman when I had like when you have cake that has alcohol, you don't feel like you're drinking the alcohol. You just feel there's hints of it as you eat the cake because it's still the cake you're enjoying. But then when you have desserts like the tequila pops, why is this tequila stuck in my mouth? Why
Yeah.
is it still
It
there?
was such a regret.
And
And it's
it's not-
super like, why did I get this from the stupid person with the basket of ice cream? But hey, it was a white party and you just accept.
Sorry, Noel.
Yeah.
Do you guys have work tomorrow? How come di kayo nagwa-vodka?
Well, we started, there was like only 2 people in the stream. So we just started talking.
Kenny asks, gummies make you poop? Depending if the gummies you have certain ingredients that in larger quantities do induce.
Oh, is this like my xylitol life? Like every
Yes.
time there's like artificial
Because-
sweeteners
Because a lot of gummy bears
are
and,
boosted.
and those type of hard jelly.
Mm.
Well, not the jelly ace, but the hard jelly types. The
Jelly.
gummy worm, the gummy, they do use those type of sweeteners. Because I think
Mm.
those sweeteners don't sweat.
That's true because they're super fake.
Mm-mm. But then, if you've like, ang sarap, because they taste like ganyan, and then after an hour and you've been having a bunch.
Noel shares our pain for he doesn't like chocolate with mint more than the wine.
Okay.
Than the chocolate with
David's gonna
alcohol.
hate you because I think David loves chocolate with mint, if I remember correctly. Was
Yeah.
it David?
But yeah,
I don't like chocolate with mint. It's like you're brushing your teeth.
I mean, like, I'm okay to eat it. I mean, like, there's a long time of like that. Was it? It was very balikbayan that you'll always get like those Andy's
At the airport.
mint. Yeah, yeah, and then
Yes.
it was like chocolate with mint. But then yeah, I do get that toothpaste feel, and then especially when it comes to like Christmas Starbucks and that peppermint mocha. And like,
But I like the chocolate flavored toothpaste.
there's a chocolate
You
flavored toothpaste.
Don't know about the chocolate flavored
I
toothpaste.
only went as far as bubblegum.
That was out locally. It was a brown toothpaste that, as you brushed your teeth, it smelled and
Have you
tasted
seen the
of chocolate.
toothpaste that I continue to buy? I have a creature of habit because this is the toothpaste styles I've grown up with.
Chocolate flavored toothpaste.
It feels like you're putting poop on your toothbrush.
Hey, that's just because it's brown.
Exactly.
Okay, now I think we're starting to have vodka.
Noel's like,
Um,
tequila's is poison. 2 to 3 shots and I'm dead. Yeah, I passed to Toby always for Rupert gives a shot after the first. You've
But
documented
that's
it.
true. Yeah, that's true. In fact, we've perfected the you get the glass, and then you give me that look, and my hand reaches and takes it, and I'm there. Mm. And small tip. So if this is your shot glass,
That's a big shot glass.
never hold it like that. Always hold it like that. That way,
You can hide the contents.
if you needed someone to drink it for you and you take it back, it still looks like it's full and you can go, chocolate flavored toothpaste. What sorcery is this? Search it. You guys search it. Google it. It was a big thing. I think it was Close Up that released it.
Yeah, Kenny also confirms close-up had it.
Mm-mm.
I don't think it was that big a thing. Obviously, because it's gone.
It was a big thing.
I
for
don't know why
those-
bubblegum toothpaste persists.
Okay, that one I agree with.
Right?
Because the reason I don't like that is because you want to chew it, and there's nothing to chew. At least the chocolate toothpaste, malunok mo ng konti, and then pangit yung lasa, then you won't spit it out. I heard. Maybe I should get the mug.
I feel like you're already drunk on power.
Oh my gosh. Okay, going back to alcohol. So were there specific dishes that you recall that had an interesting mix of alcohol? For example, I know that some use beer to prepare their chicken batter.
Mm.
I've only tried it once, I think. That weirded me out. I also got weirded out when they used Sprite. So I think I just don't like the idea of using those in the food.
Well, like I said, my biological father was very, very proud of this one darn beef stew that he would make
Mm-hmm.
once a year for the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
He would need to get a bottle of Blue Nun, red wine,
Mm-hmm.
which had, or he'd always like to get Mompo, which is mass wine.
Yeah, I
Um,
was about to ask that next.
but
Go
then
on.
yeah, but then he would use the crock pot and he would have to cook it the whole day, and it was okay, but I don't think it was the bee's knees. It's like I still preferred High Alai, which was, as we talked about previously, the weird beef stew with string beans and corn. But he did it every year, and he felt very proud of it, and good for you.
So Noel shares tequila is poison, 2 to 3 shots, and he's dead.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
talked about that.
I
Oh, Kenny shares that it was a limited edition with two other flavors. One is something tropical, and then there was another flavor, na something 60s to 90s vibe. So with your chocolate friend, chocolate, tropical, and something.
mm.
Let's look it up. Close up chocolate. Oh my god! It auto completes the chocolate toothpaste.
See, there it is. There. That one with the 3.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, but
trying.
this one should-
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. There's a
should be it.
picture with the 3.
There. So it's luscious lychee,
Oh my god!
tangerine
burst and
and choco.
choco loco, which
yes.
it's like the classic pun. It's always choco loco.
Yes, that was good. And then we got evil.
I'm sorry, we didn't use close up.
We got evil because we then bought donuts, and then we placed it on top because it looked like chocolate icing, and then we shared it with friends. We were evil kids.
Were?
I don't do that now.
Oh yeah, you were kids.
Yuri mentioned he uses wine with his ribs.
Okay. To roast your ribs. That's interesting.
So you mentioned earlier mompo.
Yes.
I was always fascinated by mompo. I was able to taste mompo at an earlier age than expected because my younger years was me thinking I would be a priest, and I was active in church. I was part of the there was the Knights of the Altar, and then there was the Savio Brothers. So I was a Savio brother because Kuya was a Knights of the Altar.
Okay.
So Kuya would be part of the mass in terms of the what the altar boys do in helping in mass. For the ones who have the incense, the ones who help the priest with the Bible and stuff like that. Me as a Savio brother, I would be more. I'd be commentator, or I would be the readings. Ganun yung duties namin. And this was the Don Bosco thing, which allowed us the opportunity to be present in more mass events. And some of those events would be events wherein everyone gets to drink the wine. So I remember I drank it, and I'm like, yeah, this is pretty good wine.
I wonder tuloy, like, then does that mean, because technically, especially First Holy Communion, you actually got more of the, like a bit of a more of the wine, or you dip the host into the wine,
There was
depending
both.
on the situation.
Yeah, there was both.
But yeah, so this is that actually more often than not a lot of people's first taste of alcohol?
It's possible. But that also is like past 10 years old, right?
Yeah, and it's
Mm-mm.
it's the blood of Christ. It's not alcohol anymore because that is the miracle of the Mass, of the Eucharist. Okay, yeah. So I don't know.
Noel, Blue Nun.
Oh wow,
Classic.
Noel also saying naging sacristan siya.
Mhm.
He was also like his mompo. Mompo was really a thing, no? And then like I don't know why my dad was like super into it. I'm like, really. I question a lot of things my father did. So okay, yeah. What? So what else? Originally I thought we were just gonna talk about the sort of things you talk about when you're drunk or when you're drinking
We can
alcohol.
still talk about
But
that.
we have gone. This is okay too. It's just that the topic has a life of its own. My description of the video is now totally inaccurate.
So when it comes to drinks, was there a point in time you started counting how much you can take? Because like in my case, the younger years of drinking, there was no counting. It was literally we bought beer, we bought alcohol, and then ayan na nagtatagay na, nagbibigay na. The moment you're empty, they'll just give you a new one, and bahala na. And then next thing you know, hindi ko na kaya. But eventually, you start going out. Like in my case, I started going to over, and I started to pay attention to the number of drinks because one, I had to drive, and two, I had to pay the bill. So I needed to know how many I really ordered to make sure I was paying the right amounts.
Mm-mm.
And what came with that was the realization of, oh my gosh, I can hit 11 shots of tequila before I feel bad, or I can have 16 bottles of beer before I'm weird. And that sort of uh, counting starts kicking in,
Mm.
which in the past, admittedly, I didn't really give a care for. So in your case, did you have a point wherein you started to keep track?
I don't necessarily keep track, but I'm very aware of like my level of drunkenness, and it's more because like I shared that story before, where that first company party,
Mm-hmm.
and when I started working in the call center, and I got super drunk because I mixed drinks, and then I never wanted that to happen again. So despite the fact that we were going to Malate every weekend,
Mm-hmm.
I was very conscious of not necessarily how much I drank, but just making sure that I didn't feel that bad.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why at, at 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 bed and stuff I would favor long drinks. I would nurse drinks for most of the night,
Rather
so
than the shot types, which was
yes,
like,
or a lot
Mhm.
of, but I would get beers. Me if I couldn't get a cocktail with my tickets upon entry, then I would have a few beers.
Mhm.
But then I would nurse a Michael, and then at most two Michaels for the whole night. And a Michael is essentially a zombie, right? If I'm not
Mhm.
mistaken.
Yeah.
In bed parlance. So, but yeah, so then I would just nurse my drink and try not to get too drunk. I think it was only at O that I really started to drink a lot more again.
Mhm.
But still, I'm very conscious. And then of course we're always watching each other, so
Mhm.
we're very quick to hydrate. Well, not quick, but we're very regular in hydrating, and that fights off the worst of it.
So Urim shares, he started counting the moment he started drinking.
Okay.
Karen shares, there was a point in life when friends and her downed beer in front of the Sari Sari store. Parang tambay
Oh
sa
my
kanto.
gosh, Karen, you're so hardcore.
Well, yeah, I've done that too. We went even as far as we became regulars dun sa tindahan. So they started bringing out the benches whenever we show up.
Mm.
Kasi they know we'd stay longer.
I don't have friends to hang out with, so that's not a thing I would do.
Yeah. In my case, because it was the village, so I had that advantage of. Although we did have friends who were from outside the village who would go all the way to visit us, but sometimes we would go with them, naman.
Well, the same thing. I didn't even know my neighbors, so we're super friendly, our family, because it's safer to stay indoors and like not interact with people.
Karen and Noel are discussing tapos tago sa mga tanod. Yeah, there was that need to do that. It was funny. In our case, it even had the added factor of because back then, we would smoke and our parents didn't know about it. So there was a lot of the car coming, and we'd hide it because it might be the parents, which had that stupid time of we went out to BF Homes. There's the 7-Eleven,
Okay.
and while there, we decided, while one is in line to buy stuff, we were smoking outside,
Okay.
and then noticed parent coming in, so we killed our cigarettes. One friend, Marco, was still smoking, but he was a bit away from us. And then he got back, but the parent was inside at that time. Looks inside, sees the parent, and he starts panicking because he wants to kill the cigarette, but he doesn't want to yet because he just lit it.
Oh, okay. So
But
yeah,
then the parent spots him. So he waves
with the cigarette
the
in his
cigarette.
hand.
And then sees it and drops it. And we were all, no. I know.
I never smoke, so I don't have these stories.
Urim shares never ever.
Have a drinking match with a Korean, even if she's half your size, you will lose.
Mm.
This is a very specific experience, but we appreciate you sharing this wisdom with all of us. I have never been an opportunity to drink with a Korean woman.
I will state though that there are a lot of short people who are strong drinkers. I don't know if
Where are you going with this?
No, no, no. But
Why does it have to be short people?
no, thinking of the Malate days, a lot of the friends whom I remember were the ones who could go toe and toe with me in terms of how much I drank back then, tended to be the shorter people.
You realize many people are shorter than you.
Yeah, but I mean,
Where am I on this scale of short people who can
you're not
drink?
that short.
Oh wow, suddenly I'm not that short. This is the way.
I mean, you're not that short that you need a mask to look good.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh.
oh. See,
We're
now
not
you
even
understand.
drunk. You're just shady.
Now you understand. That's short.
You know, we're
So
I'm not that much taller than that person.
every inch counts.
That's so wrong. So wrong.
Oh my god. There's a myth that Asians couldn't handle alcohol. That's because of the Asian flush. Because we genetically, a large number of our population tend to get red flushed quickly because of a certain allergen or reaction.
Ha! Mitch is like present short people versus Toby. Not necessarily people who could drink better than you, but just people who are shorter than you.
David's not shorter than.
Wow, what an example. Let's bring in the giant friend.
Ed's not shorter than.
Same thing. They are a matched set. We love them, but they're also very tall. I am not.
Wait, our top is alcohol, not height. So let's go back to
I'm trying to say our top is alcohol.
our topic is alcohol. So
Okay, it's like, so Rowan, you guys haven't had drinks yet. This is just to tell you that our normal conversations are already very strange. Because okay, if we're gonna go on to David's like, wow, hi David. If we're gonna get on topic and think about what are the things that we talk about while drunk at O, the conversations outside at the balcony are very diverse,
oh yeah.
which have included RPGs.
Mhm.
Talking about tabletop RPGs
Or
and everybody's history.
or discussing Roro's Basilisk, or talking about how we might all be in the Matrix.
Christmas tree decorations at the
Yes.
mall.
Insane team building activities.
In other words, a lot of our drunken conversations at O-Bar sound like our normal conversations, but maybe a little louder. Or, I don't know, or a bit more like off tangent.
David's reality height, as in height.
As in height tall.
Mitch shares soju is love with yogurt drink or melon.
Can finish two bottles. Melona.
Sorry, I can't see that.
Finish two bottles and that feel good feeling, yung tamang lasing lang.
So I tried soju, diba? That's what I bought that time when. So we got you a bottle of vodka, but then I got that small bottle because I wanted to
Yes.
try it. It's okay. I don't actually see the difference, but then again, I did get the plain one.
And you didn't have it with like Yakult.
Amusal.
I
Parang
don't know.
ganun yung name. But yeah, I did get the flavored ones because those had a lot of sugar. So I didn't want to get that, but you want to try it. David's
Yeah.
still saying hi. 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 Grim says, I remember the shades. Yes, we do throw a lot of shade when we're having our discussions. But that's only because it's mostly the truth. It's always shady when you realize it's true.
I feel like in our case it's just that I mean we're definitely of an age where we don't care about people's reactions as much, and so we just let it out.
And admittedly, the discussions where we don't care about the reactions tend to be discussions that don't really matter.
Mm.
I mean, it's not like we're judging someone in terms of real life choices.
Okay,
But
that's
then,
fair.
But then, if you're going to try to reinvent yourself by thinking you'll take selfies in a different way, and then talk about them like it's a landmark moment in your life, when you look 5 years back and you did the same thing, then
This is
we're gonna read you.
This is a very specific general example.
Yeah, well, sticking your tongue out doesn't really change your face. So, anyway, strawberry is good, according
They're
to
still talking about soju.
Karen shares. I tried
Tried
the
the
peach
peach.
one. It tasted like cough syrup. Yeah, there are a number of them that when they try to do this flavor thing, they just taste like medicine.
Because they also leverage artificial sweeteners and stuff, and so it spikes.
I also wonder if it has to do with the flavor additive being the same source.
That is
It's
also
sort of-
possible.
yeah, like how those strawberry flavored condoms tasted like the candy because they were the same strawberry flavor.
I have never tried, so I cannot corroborate your statement. As a serial
I heard.
monogamist, I have very limited experience with condoms, and I've definitely not put any in my mouth.
I heard.
Green apple soju right now for Kenny. Okay, yes.
Noel does agree. At our age, we care less of BS, and
But
that,
we love BSG.
yeah, but that's the thing. No, you do see some people who are super still clinging on to BS, and wala, you can't help but talk about it tuloy when you're at the bar
Yeah.
because you're happy, they're happy, but you also will cite I see the BS.
Yeah, that's true. We will call it out when we call it out.
Noel, we went from toothpaste to condoms. No, we're in alcohol. This is because of WandaVision. Mitch says about whiskey. I agree with Toby at first until I tasted hibiki.
Mm.
Um,
What is hibiki?
I think that's one of the really expensive Japanese whiskey. Remember when we tried
I was about to say, remember we tried sake?
the flight?
We were gonna
Yeah,
talk
we had
about
the
it.
flight. That's what they call it, right? The flight when you have.
Oh, you're talking about the flight of whiskey. Sorry, the flight of
Yes,
whiskey at the
yes,
thing. Yeah,
yes.
yeah. And then it was like, oh, this is blah 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 blah, and this is blah blah blah.
And it
blah.
did have that when you tried it. I am a lighter, and then the next one, ooh, this one's better, but it's there again.
Yeah,
Which-
this is my thing.
Which is amazing though when it was explained that it's because of the water and where it's passing through
And the cast
nitrogen-
that we're using it
and the
all
nitrogen
these things.
content, which means 10 years from now there's less, so it will taste different. And
Mhm.
so tuloy, the flavor really is
Changes over time with the
Yeah,
aging.
which is amazing.
I appreciate the science of the mixologist and all that trying to explain things to us, but then in the end, I'm like, I'm okay with just vodka.
Yeah, I think in the end we're happy to taste it, but we won't.
It
go
is not a
gaga.
hobby I'm gonna get into.
I'd still rather buy board games than a new bottle of whiskey.
Yeah. Rocky sounds like the vampire from Hotel Transylvania. What do you mean?
Mitch, dangerous ground.
I don't know where we're going.
Well,
with
if we're
that.
talking about Hotel Transylvania, I'm the slime. See, not the werewolf, not the dog. Slime.
Yeah, I mean, like it goes back to like I as much as you love the Beholder, I still feel like you have a definite soft spot for the gelatinous cube.
As a monster, not so much. Because they're boring monsters. Officially, they just lie in wait.
Yeah. Then
So,
you just enter.
Meh. But if you could play a gelatinous cube as a player character, I would be a gelatinous cube bard.
And you would be a bard. Why did I know he was going to be a bard again? He's already put me in a game with a Beholder bard.
Because
Kurt
because-
Cobain.
because I could vibrate to make music.
Ay,
But if I wanted a more awesome character, I'd be a druid. So I could turn into jelly animals.
We're not even drunk, ladies and gentlemen. This is just us.
Yes. Kenny shares tasted expensive gin. There's a significant difference from the cheap ones. Okay, gin definitely because gin
Because man, some gin really feel like motor oil now.
and I don't know if it's a fact, but it really I don't know if it's really plastic, but it really hardens to that weird consistency if left.
I've never been around gin long enough to notice this, but I
The,
will,
the cheap ones.
ooh, Ooh,
There's
scary.
that weird, parang okay, that is scary.
Um. Okay. Talking about expensive stuff. Then okay, I was fascinated by like the variances in tequila, and that's something that we really got to experience at O. And like Cuervo was always sort of like the standard, and like everybody gets Cuervo.
And it was the work through the pain.
Yeah, yeah. Then it wasn't until well, first there was Patron XO, which is like ooh,
Patron
how
just
can this be tequila?
yeah,
It's so delicious.
and that's because it overwhelmed you with the flavor.
Yes.
It still hit you with tequila, but it overwhelmed you nicely with the flavor.
And it wasn't until, tied up more with like Cazadores.
And
And
that
then like, oh
that
my God, it
was
makes a difference.
that was
It super makes a
a
difference.
tequila that was not painful and actually tasted good.
But still hits you in the nuts.
Yes.
So I mean, Patron is fine. Patron XO is a distraction. But Cazadores is like good stuff.
Mhm. Don Papa, I still find Don Papa harsh for me. It's still strong for me.
Yeah. So Noel likes Don Papa.
Mhm. Yes, Noel, you like Don Papa.
Mm.
So I think I'm gonna get the vodka. Noel, ah? Si Rocky yun. What else are we talking about? Um, so we talked about gin, we talked about whiskey, we talked about tequila. Um, we haven't really touched on cocktails. And you mentioned the Mickey,
Mikey.
no, the Mikey, sorry, you mentioned Mikey, which was a zombie. There was a time in another episode we talked about the kamikaze,
Mm.
which was a popular mixed drink in
Bobar.
Bobar.
I feel like the universal rule of alcohol is like if it's blue, it's dangerous. It's like every time it's blue, like a blue frog or a kamikaze, then it's like it's not going to go well. I mean, they taste good at the time,
Mhm.
but then they will come for you in the end.
Um, Cocktails tend to be tricky because either they're super watered down,
Mm.
so they're just juice
Yes.
with a touch of alcohol,
Yes.
or they're super sweetened, so they're strong in alcohol,
But they're
but the
hit they're,
sugar
yeah,
fools
trying to
you,
distract you. Yeah.
and hence the infamous Long Island long
Long Island iced tea?
yeah, which people think it's just iced tea, but some bars it's actually one of the stronger drinks.
Yeah, I mean, like I've had Long Island iced teas where okay, this does not taste like an iced tea at all. There is so much alcohol in this, and okay, I mean that's the very definition of a long drink, right? It's supposed to be strong and that you can nurse it over time. But if you chug it, then you're gonna see the floor very soon.
And then there's of course the standard pina colada, which you mentioned he likes.
Cosmos.
Yeah, and then the Bloody Mary, the which one was the juiced milk? So it had those weird sperm-like moments in it, but then the milk's curdling, so you really have to drink it fast.
I don't know what that one is.
There was that
I'm
drink,
not super familiar.
and then of course you have the drinks that are set afire.
Yes.
So the ones that you have to drink fast with a straw. You had
Blowjobs.
then you had the depth charges.
Oh, which is like the
a
lambanog
shot
in a
glass of
beer.
something that a
Yeah,
lambanog usually, and then you drop it in the beer. And I hated those because it always hit my face.
The shot glass.
Yes, because I'd be like, oh, sige, and then I'll drink the mug tuloy-tuloy. But of course, and
I remember Penguin. Was it Penguin? I think it was Penguin that had a nice. They had like a. I think it was was it a submarine or a U-boat, whatever they called it. But
submarine.
But it was that. It was a very tall mug of beer with a shot of lambanog, and then yeah, you had the shot glass. But the thing was like tall enough so that you could
it doesn't go.
yeah, you
to
could
your face.
avoid, you
Yeah.
could carefully negotiate that shot glass, but it was an experience.
Can we share
Penguin.
sangria, White Russian?
Mimosa during lunchtime? I don't drink during work.
I don't
It's
mind.
not my culture.
I don't mind, but I don't see
Look for it.
I don't
Yeah.
feel the charm. I guess part of me, the reason why I don't really appreciate doing it is because I feel warm when I drink. And you
That's
feel
true.
warm when you work because you're,
Stressed or
yeah.
focused and whatnot.
And I don't like that feeling. Na parang sweating on the computer. It's not like naman you can, be in the pool with your computer. So
What an example.
Malibog ng Big Sky.
What's that?
I think it is a mixed drink. I don't think I ever tried it. We weren't huge Big Sky people, so we don't.
We weren't big on Big Sky. Those are
Um,
Obar people.
what else? So other than that, there was of course the Singapore Sling.
Oh yeah, or by the same virtue, the Mindoro sling.
Yes, I was gonna say.
These sling drinks that were just, I mean, they're right up my alley. I love nice fruity mixes
And
when I
think,
could have sugar.
and I think that's also parang if you get to travel and they supposedly have a house drink.
Yeah,
Try
then
it.
you want to try. Then you want to
Parang-
try the local sling all the time.
Parang-
Mojito. Oh God. Okay, the mojitos always remind me of that other bar.
Sige, let's talk about that other bar. Come on, let's talk about that other bar.
Because I said the mojitos didn't taste like it had anything, and I like I like the element of the mint and
Mhm.
stuff.
So you had a glass of mint.
Yeah, but even the mint wasn't that strong. It felt old.
So which bar was this?
It's gone now.
Did it have an interesting bathroom?
No,
Then which bar was this?
it was I can't remember the name now. It was the one next to bed, the Manila something.
Yes.
The one I reviewed. Okay,
Yes.
that's what you want to say. It's the
Yes.
one I reviewed,
Yes.
and the one where they tried to ply me with drinks after. Oh, stuff with Baileys. I've always like have a mixed experience with stuff with Baileys because one, they're always very expensive, and then two, it always feels like super milk out. Like I don't know, like if it was really worth it. So
Me, I love Bailey's.
I love Baileys, but yeah, but when you get them in a cocktail at a bar,
Mhm.
I always feel like I'm not getting enough Baileys.
Mm.
Then I should just order a bottle of Baileys.
Me, I love it, but I need to go home soon. Bailey's doesn't go well with
Because
my
you
system.
and your milk and alcohol.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. Jaeger though.
Jaeger's evil.
Jaeger's evil and fun.
But yeah, but Jaeger feels very high school now when I think about it. Or it's like it's a very young.
Yeah. Jaeger was fun and awesome until we met Patron Exo.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
then when we met Patron Exo, we realized Jaeger was like
the cheaper version
Was like
of that.
Dungeons and Dragons in the world of role playing games. Everyone thinks you're hip and cool, but there's actually so many other games out there. What?
Hashtag Twitter handle Altoby no shade. Just asking favorite wine. Okay,
Shall
That's a
we
good
get the
start.
bottle?
or the box. So
Because I
no.
did order.
The wine I really fell in love with for some reason because it was cheap and widely available. Was oh god, what's the brand? It was
Butterfly Ridge?
Butterfly Ridge.
Yeah.
Okay, I like Australian wine. I do like Australian wines. I like them more than California. I like them more than South American. I love Australian wines. And then Butterfly Ridge like really stood out. And then I really love the Cabernet Sauvignon.
Mhm.
So I like a red, a very rich red. And then Toby, and then they stopped importing it for some reason.
Mhm.
And then Toby recently, finally, over the course of quarantine, found me 10 bottles of it. So even though I am not really drinking wine as much because of keto,
We now have stock.
we now have a lot of wine. And we had a bottle over New Year's, and it was delightful.
Mhm. And we won't have another one till the next major event. Because,
Maybe New Year.
because we're
again.
not, we're not rushing to finish it. We know it's not keto. So,
Our older bottles are what, 2011,
Mhm.
2007, or no, 2011. And then it's like,
Uh,
Novellino. Novellino is always like, hey, let's get wine at 7-Eleven. It's like super sweet.
that's the wine in the Tetra box.
Sometimes, yeah, but yeah, it's a super easy table wine. Like if you just want cheap wine,
But that's different from Doña Elena.
Yeah.
which is it's also a wine, right? It's not a cooking wine.
There's also a cooking oil, right? um, uh, and then what's the other one? Paul, was it Paul, my son, or something? The one that's like in that really fat jug, which make great water bottles if you want water bottles in the fridge. So we have a bottle as a gift. One of those. It's like an easy gift for people to give.
So Mitch shares daiquiri. Urim shares yellowtail rose wine.
Yeah, Yellowtail Australian.
And then Karen shares barefoot moscato. Noel shares coconut rum.
Okay, I have mixed feelings about coconut rum, and I've tasted it particularly in zombies. And I think the coconut. It's funny. As much as I like fruity flavors in my cocktails, whenever it's like coconut, it kind of takes me out. I'm like, oh, whoa! It's like I can super taste the coconut when it's coconut rum, and I didn't always enjoy it. So like when I ordered a zombie when I was at West Hollywood, then I was like, oh, I can super taste the coconut. And then like I didn't. That's why I ended up with a big dick. It's a drink. It was a drink, but which was
A drink.
also fruity, but it didn't have coconut rum in it. So
There was mentions of South African wines by Mitch.
yeah, I don't know. I never got into it. I never got into South African wines or things from the Iberian continent, the Spanish and the Portuguese, whatever.
Noel shares French wine as his go-to choice. Urim admits loves cooking with it. I presume that's one of the wines.
That's what I like about Australian wines is that because it's closer, it's cheaper, and then and the taste isn't that bad. Okay. What's this? Oh, rosés. Rosés are always like if you have cherries with rosé. Oh man, Butterfly Ridge had a great rosé. I've never had a rosé quite like that. Yeah. Oh well. Oh well. Bye, sugar drinks. Okay.
Karen shares never tried sake. We tried that, right?
We did. We at the fancy Japanese place, which I feel like will close one day.
Which had that really intricate
the bottle
thing
with the ice in the middle, but it was in a chamber.
Yeah, so it doesn't contaminate
the sake.
And we were like joking that it was such a small bottle. But halfway through it, we were already drunk. No, it was really strong.
Yeah, it was very strong.
It was really very strong. So that was pretty good.
Kenny says he can't get into wines, but so far like sweet lips Moscato, and then like which is fine. I think everybody starts with like sweeter wines in the beginning, and then I don't know. You just appreciate the richer stuff. But I really like even before keto, I like the reds more than the whites. I don't know why. I think it feels more winey to me that it's like
than juice,
slightly bitter. Yeah. Then it doesn't wander into the shandy zone. So yeah.
Then of course there's that wine vinegar line when a wine gets too
when it's too old.
Then it starts becoming vinegar
which was a useful trick to know if you were play Maniac Mansion 2 Day of the Tentacle. You would store a wine bottle, send it, and then in the future pick it up, then it's vinegar. We just send into the past because they need it to make a battery. That's part of the walkthrough. Okay.
So yeah, beyond the drinks themselves, the food you eat when you're drinking.
Noel earlier was saying that he wasn't really a pulutan person. That's interesting. I mean, and I don't know. I mean, like I'm trying to think about how that started because all through my bed years, and we'll address it that way. I didn't have food while drinking,
but that's also because you didn't have a table.
Yes.
I mean, no. I mean,
it's literally.
I don't mean that as shade. I mean, you wouldn't think of food.
You didn't.
That's bad. You would.
That's it. That's the shade.
No, okay. But you wouldn't think of having
food without a table.
Don't have a
that
table
is true. That is true.
Because you wouldn't be like me, willing to hold something while standing and eating, right? That's what I do, even with each mango pie walking.
You see, it's gonna be the pie story.
So
it's gonna be the pie.
So
imagine him walking around Glorieta with a pie.
Well, I had to finish it.
Okay, and he wasn't just carrying it; he was eating it without utensils.
Teeth are utensils.
It's like a sandwich. It's like a really big sandwich.
Let's focus on alcohol. So in terms of pulutan, yeah, you really wouldn't think of getting pulutan. I doubt that would have been the case if there was like somewhere you could have had it. Because
Yeah.
then you would like want to have it there and you can just grab it.
But it always weirded me out during home, the few like home drinking sessions we had. Because okay, and then I didn't so like I didn't have like barcada drinking growing up, and then it was only like later on that sometimes we'd have people over from work after shift at the place, and then we'd end up drinking. And that's the only for the time I really experienced like people passing drinks around, which didn't feel sanitary, but okay, I'm a little prissy. And then the other was like really instant pollutant, the lowest barrier, the lowest form of that I felt. Sorry, I mean it tasted good. It was very strange. Was basically skyflakes and tuna
Yes.
mashed into the.
And mind you, lowest na yun. Because for most of us, lowest was just, peanuts.
Well, that was also there too, but I felt like in terms of like you deliberately prepare something as pollutant.
The fact that you prepared it already elevates it beyond
Wow.
us buying balot and making it pollutant while we drink sa kanto. But that's because we're from Luzon. So anyway,
He makes these assertions. I don't. People are getting hungry as usual. Whenever we talk about food, that's a side
Okay.
effect of this show.
so Obar has trained us to enjoy peanuts and popcorn as pollutant. But we eventually faced away from peanuts
Wait,
and had popcorn lang, but
I
then
only
faced away
attacked
popcorn.
I only attacked the peanuts for the garlic chips.
Well, now.
No, but even before I would hunt the garlic and the
Okay.
peanuts, and then now it's all I can eat in the peanut thing. But we don't necessarily order it. It just appears on our table when
Yeah.
Rupert
Thank you so
looks
much.
at us and like, oh, hey, peanuts.
And then
I miss the popcorn.
yeah, the popcorn was a
I miss the
a
popcorn.
good dose of
That was
saltiness.
super that was good stuff. And then I missed the popcorn experiments. I know I said this before. I'm saying it again.
Then of course, chicharon bulaklak soon celebrated its presence.
Fresh.
Greasy food is always a good pollutant thing because it allows you to take more alcohol.
Karen said, ang uso ngayon is wine and charcuterie boards. I feel like, yeah, charcuterie boards became one of those weird, like, dalgona coffee style things. Like, people were, like, trying to, like, I mean, they were always a thing, but then people really pushed them. And, then it fascinates me how many people try to make wine, like, meat and cheese platters for New Year. Like, and it feels like a very Western thing, but it manifests so often, like when I see New Year spreads.
It's social media. I mean, let's face it, it was only this last.
You know, just this
The
last.
previous ones, it wasn't a big thing.
Okay.
Let's face it. The real big thing every season is the 8 fruits kasi that's good luck. The 8 round fruits. But then, social media came up with this board thing and now everyone wants to have one at paramihan sila nang nilalagay doon kahit naman walang sense.
Ooh, shade. Okay. Karen's like beer with Obar's Tokat Baboy. Yes. I'm super glad that I can continue to have Tokat Baboy going into keto. I mean, I'm sure that the toyo probably has some sugar, but I'll live with it because it's good stuff.
Mhm.
And then if you order Tokat Baboy on a Saturday, I feel like you have less sauce than if you order Tokat Baboy on a Friday. Kenny shares the same experience. Passing drinks is an odd concept since you're more used to drinking with people who drink at their own pace. Yeah, I don't.
The passing drink thing is a very Pinoy thing. Because
Yeah.
it wasn't a thing either when I was in LA and stuff, drinking with people there.
Yeah,
There
people just beer. Everybody got a beer.
And everyone has their cup. Everyone
Or
has their,
have their sippy cup.
the only time there was passing the drink around when I was in LA was because there was a bottle and we didn't have cups. So it was a brown bag, pass the bag, sort of thing.
Hobo drinking.
And here, passing the drink is sort of a barcada display.
There is
of,
a cultural aspect of
you're
it.
part of the group, so you get to drink from this cup.
Yeah, and then a few times we like done it, especially with like work people. Then it's like meron yung magtatagay, and
Mm.
then there's the whatever the mix master, and then
Kasi the tanggero is the one in charge of the pace.
yeah, and
And-
then like you can't say no, and then
Yes.
all that, then it's like bad if you do.
And
it
it's their,
fascinates
it's
me.
their job to refill the drink, and it's, hoy, tagal mo na, inom na.
Yeah, kasi everybody's just talking and you're
And
just
everyone's
holding the
waiting
drink.
for the cup to pass. And then supposedly it's sanitary kasi
'Cause it's alcohol.
so it'll burn it naman daw.
Probably not in these COVID times.
Yes. And then what else? So there's my personal touch of extra draws and beer.
That was very unique.
Mhm.
When we first hung out, the very, very first night, he brought over a couple of bottles of Red Horse, which is a beer I didn't drink. And then I see him putting in extra Joss. And like, what? It looks really bad when you're doing your Happy Horse thing. Okay. But yeah, then I was just bizarred out. Like, why are you putting extra Joss? Extra Joss is like what helps construction workers stay awake.
Oh my God, construction
That's my
workers.
concept. Okay.
Shade. That is shade. Construction workers. Well, power tools. So anyway,
What?
shark break, shark break. Okay. See, now I feel like we should be drinking. Okay, my glass is near empty.
Of water. This is very sweet.
We've had 2 quacks, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
So, pulutan. There's also
I'm like that. Like people want to watch WandaVision after this.
there is still the pulutan levels of actual eating. So there's the pulutan, which is leftovers and pika pika. But then there's the pulutan levels of, at some point you really find yourself suddenly ravenously hungry. And for some,
I feel like people, when they see our table at Obar, think we're that. And the JR will pass by and like, kailangan nyo ba ng kanin? We always look like we're having dinner at
because
Obar.
there is that point wherein, you have the buzz so nicely that you really want to.
No, but in all honesty, we have times where like, if we're just home, we're planning to go to O later. We had dinner na. We kind of get hungry. And it's like, man, let's wait for O. And then we'll just order more
That's
there.
true.
Or
The
we've
food's
had
good
like
too.
very minimal dinner, and then we'll eat more at O.
Mhm.
And then and then whether JR or Rupert will always make fun of us because we have this spread of food. Because it'll be like the barbecue, the tokot baboy, the chicharon balaklak.
Kenny was
Yeah, there are 2 sharks, Kenny. Oof, you are not up to date. There have been 2 sharks since Christmas because of David.
Chicken judges you with an egg. Okay. And then beyond that, okay, drink etiquette. In the times you did have
Drink etiquette.
drinks with friends, whether it's at a house or what, is it leave your bottle anywhere? Is it bring the bottles to the kitchen?
I rarely had drinks at other people's places,
Mhm.
but then typically when you drink at our place, then I'd be expecting you to at least put the bottles in the kitchen, right? And then like, but now it's a prevalence of cans, so I have a separate garbage bag
Mhm.
for recyclable materials in line with the building's false segregation efforts. So try to honor that.
Mhm.
I noticed like when we have Nico over, then he crushes his cans all the time, which
Yeah.
is like interesting.
That's
which is nice. It's like space saving.
Mhm. But I feel like you should really do that only after you dry out the can. So
That's also they're also that. It's useless to try to put things in a recycling bin if you don't wash them. So it's weird, right? So yeah, our recycling efforts are a farce along the road.
and then there's that Philippine aspect of some alcohol may deposit yung bottle.
Yes,
So
at the
you-
Sari
Oo,
store.
So you want to
So you
bring
really
it
need to
back
gather the glasses and try not to break the bottles.
because
How much is deposit now? Because I always think back to like when it was like $1 or $2 and stuff.
Mhm.
That's so old. How much is deposit now? I'm curious.
We haven't been ordering anything that has deposit.
Yeah. And then yeah, and then like cans have become like the way to go. I
Mhm.
mean, like they're just everywhere. Silence. I don't know what else. Did you ever do a lot? Do you do like a okay? I I haven't really been big on drinking at home.
Mhm.
And it's only like in this quarantine period that we sort of did, but we limited to like the show and or like being on a video call, so it still feels social. And I've never really been the type to like drink on my own or to I had a bad day and I need a drink. I don't know. I've never had
Mhm.
that vibe.
Mhm.
How about you?
Well, I did have my creative drama point in life wherein
Mm.
when I write, I drink. When I'm creative, I parang nurse the muse with alcohol. And, yeah, not that shit. And it was in my ABS years that I realized, fuck nursing the muse. If you want to write, if you want to be creative, do it because it's what you can do. So I kind of broke out of that early. But then, in terms of the feeling bad and drinking, I think in the past it was because it allowed you to have an excuse to be more emotional.
Mm.
But now I find myself less drink because I feel bad, but more I want to be with friends, and that's why I'll drink.
Mm. And that's like the because you're feeling bad, you want to be with friends and
And
not
it's
necessarily drink.
and that happens to be for us going to Obar to drink with friends.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a I'm at home, I feel bad, I'll get beer.
Yeah.
So that never was a
I've never had that thought. And then yeah, then I think also because nga, that my alcohol, like my regular adult alcohol drinking life started with the club scene.
Mhm.
So then same thing that I when I think about drinking, I don't think about being sad or I don't think about chasing the feeling. I think about wanting to be with friends
Mhm.
and like having fun time with friends. So yeah, so there maybe there's a logic to that. But Kenny says, well, one he can't drink without food because he gets buzzed easily. The other is he drinks while working to keep him awake and have a high energy. That's funny because a lot of people will make an excuse that they need to have alcohol before bed to help them
Well,
sleep
drinks are depressants, right? They're sorry, they're downers.
to some degree.
They're not. They don't make you hyper. They bring you down. They bring your inhibitions down. They bring your
Mm-mm.
ano down.
What's interesting, based on what the science is while alcohol can help you potentially go to sleep faster, it makes your sleep shallower.
Because you're restless.
Yeah, so you're more likely to wake up
Mhm.
earlier, and thus it's not as
Yeah.
effective.
So I think, Kenny, what you feel like you're more high energy is actually your body is just warmer, and that makes you associate.
Or
it
do
with
you
more
drink
energy.
because you feel like you're hyper and you need to come down to be at a working pace? I don't know. I'm curious.
Possibly also, but but admittedly, alcohol does not make you hyper. It
It
makes
downs you.
it makes you more relaxed. It makes you less um, inhibited, and
Less alert.
that might be what you're identifying as more energy.
Maybe.
Kasi hindi ka nag-hold back.
Karen's like, have you ever gone to class drunk or with a hangover?
Yes, I have many times.
My drinking life is my adult life, so I don't have that association.
I've had the teacher tell me, but amoy chico ka. And I answered, kasi masarap ang chico. Which I guess you realized I was drunk. LaSalle, I was a interesting LaSalle.
Noel's like, he can't sleep if he drinks just one or two before sleeping. Kaya I don't drink on a weekday na, except Friday. Well, Friday is like the weekend na for the most part, so that's fine. um, Mitch is like, no comment, work. It's like not going to school, but work.
Work is tricky. There have been instances where I pushed. Kasi nga, diba, there'd be the Thursday night drinking and then Friday there's work.
But I
So-
don't think we're like we're not drunk at least. We're
We're puyat.
definitely puyat. So it's more of that.
But I cannot deny that there were some Friday we are mornings So I might have been still buzzed.
Mm.
Diba? Like yung Thursday night inuman and then Friday my 7 a.m. something.
Oh
So
yeah,
there's
then
no
it's like
time to really sleep or anything. Yeah.
yeah. I've shown up at family events like nursing
But I think
nursing
it
that
helps
the
that we
feeling.
never really,
Go too far
yeah, we it's not our habit to drink
to
in that
excess.
excess.
Yeah,
Our enjoyment is drinking to the point that, we definitely know it's time to head home. We
or it's
still
time
can
to like
walk.
take. I'll have several bottles of water,
Mm.
especially since keto, because I know that it's a side effect that I process alcohol faster, or because there's not much else in my system, so the alcohol hits me harder.
Mhm.
So I'm very aware of that. So like in a regular O bar night while we're drinking, as I'm working through the bottle of vodka, I have what? Like at least 3 bottles of water,
Mhm.
more likely 4 to 5. So I'm drinking literally 2 liters of water during an O bar night.
Which is good.
Plus the fact that I drink my vodka with soda water, which is still more water. So it's a lot of hydration going on for me.
Mhm.
But that's just to keep pace with the side effects of keto.
Noel shares, malit na bagay, remember I took my top off in class.
Oh no,
Got topless in class because I was so drunk, couldn't be absent in class. I was like past 7 p.m. class, nag-inuman muna.
Okay. It was a night class. Okay. Okay. Interesting.
So I think we've covered
A lot.
a wide range of topics as far as drinking is concerned.
Now let's talk about WandaVision. Okay.
Uh,
So good.
I'm trying to think of if there's any last few
Yeah, how about you guys?
touches.
Anything part of this alcohol-y discussion? Sorry, okay, then it's like it's again tying back to that. I don't always look especially this year. It doesn't help that we're timing our fasting. Then I'm a lot more conscious about drinking
Mhm.
on weekend at night. So I'm not super engaged into drinking. And I mean, and no problem, guys. If you guys want to, that's fine. And then, but yeah, I'm just not super looking for it.
Hangovers, eat, hydrate.
I don't have many hangover stories. Like, I don't know if it's because of good hydration or for the longest time, like after going out, we'd eat.
Yeah.
I mean, like even before we got together,
We kind of,
there was always like eating after
Mhm.
drinking. And so by the
That was-
time I wake up later, I'm not really that hungover.
Mm.
It's only when I mix drinks or there's a heck of a lot of tequila that I'll probably feel effects in the morning.
Mhm.
More likely, I will have to deal with going to the bathroom a lot. Like I will be peeing more than I'd like, and yeah, and bathrooming.
Yeah, but ultimately, for me, it's been hydrate, eat. The greasy food helps. Lots of hydration helps. A Gatorade bottle is always your best friend if you need to
Mhm.
have a faster sobering up process because it's got electrolytes. Um, but yeah, I'm not a coffee is the cure to a hangover.
It
type
doesn't
person.
really help
I know the caffeine helps,
to some degree.
but
It
coffee-
doesn't fight the main effects. I
and
feel.
coffee dehydrates.
Yeah.
So it actually makes your hangover worse because hangovers are extreme dehydration.
Mm-mm.
So my problem has been less hangovers and more cramps.
Yeah.
And I get really terrible cramps.
That's always like after a long night of drinking, and if Toby hasn't been careful, I will have him bolt out of bed, crap, 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 and he's like pushing against the wall because his legs cramp.
Mhm.
Poor guy. Okay, Mitch is like asking, anyone usually designated driver or tagal-alaga ng lasing? Toby is obviously designated driver. And then he hates watching people who are drunk. And that's like a full 3 strikes if that happens, and Toby has to take care of you while you're super drunk. And then the next time we go out, we're gonna be very reluctant to have you with us.
I mean, I'm not against making sure people are okay if they're drunk, but I hate it if they intentionally went in that situation.
Yeah, when you do it on a regular
Because
basis.
you've intentionally chosen to burden others.
Mm.
So that's when I find myself really irritated with that. Because I like, we'll have a birthday party. Sometimes, sige, drink lang, we'll take care of you. Diba? And that's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll take care of you.
Then it's like it's an extraordinary event.
But then if the person will hang out and then, so how will you go home? Bahala na. And then keeps drinking. Parang, wait lang.
Then we're not so helpful. How drunk is too drunk? If you have to ask the question. No, I mean, like, if you can't make good decisions, if you can't get home on your own, if you're passed out at the bar, that's definitely too much.
I mean,
that's just me.
I think at the very basic, if you already have trouble doing things normally, that's already past
Red
the
flag,
point. That's
yeah.
not near the point. That's past the point. So the moment you're causing bottles to fall or spilling a drink, that's that's a red flag na. That's a warning na. Because why is that happening?
Mhm.
If it's not paying attention, then I understand it. But if it's because you're fumbling, then if you still won't choose to start hydrating at that point.
Karen is a good one. If you vomit, that's too drunk. Yeah, that's a good point. I always feel like as I get really drunk, what's this? Then the part of my brain that can still process what's going on, like from the different part, it's a weird visualization, but the different parts of my brain, they all cluster together in a tiny, like in the back of my head, and then they're like, Rocky, you're drunk, and like it's like getting mad at me. So I'm able to. I mean, it's still a struggle to move, but then parang I'm like I've focused all of my brain power into one sober spot, which is sort of like when you say the box, I guess. And then that part of me gets me home, and like it's like, or I need to hydrate. It's time to, like, Toby, I don't feel good. We gotta go. And it doesn't happen super often, I'll admit. It's usually when there's a lot of, like, maybe it's a birthday night and there's like a lot of tequila. It's always tequila, but yeah, then it's like it's a thing. But then yeah, Noel's like talking about, if you don't remember the night, I have never forgotten a night. But it's also because of that weird feeling in my brain, and that everybody's focused and like, you're not gonna forget this shit. Then that's why I'm always like, I've never lost time. I've never lost a night.
Yeah, Kidno there mentions, if people tell you you're drunk and you keep denying it, you're already too drunk.
That's true. Oh man, that high school drinking thing at Fontana, and then people were asking me if I was drunk. If we had gone drinking, and people were asking me if I was drunk. I'm like, no, I'm not drunk. See, negative b squared plus minus over the square root 4ac all over 2a. I can recite the quadratic equation. I am not drunk. And my full name is Ricardo Rodolfo Rolando. See, I can say my full name. I'm not drunk. I was drunk. I was very drunk. That's nerd drunk. Yeah, Noel's always aware that he has to drive. See, that's like you're in the same boat as Toby, and like always being conscious of that, which is like, ba? I mean, ganun lang eh. If you're mature enough, then you just have to be responsible.
In my case, there's the added what's the word? Experiences of being the one to have to rush someone to hospital, being the one to stop a fight and bring the bleeding person to the emergency room, crap like that.
Very specific stories.
So I've had a lot of those, and they all boil down to someone not being mature enough to watch themselves and how they were enjoying the night. So I have a very short leash when it comes to being comfortable with those people again. Kasi parang that happened na, and then
here you are
ganun pa
again,
rin.
like pushing really hard. Yeah.
So yeah.
Practice responsible drinking. Can I say it's always hard to prove you're not drunk, especially by saying di pa ako laseng. Yeah.
Well, if you're wondering,
Especially di pa ako laseng.
if you're wondering how to prove it, that's still already a sign. The fact naman that people are already bringing it up is already telling you that they see something that's different.
Yeah, it's like if people, I mean, if people bring it up, that means you're already behaving weird. So you're probably at least tipsy, and then just acknowledge it and just own it, and then hydrate. So don't wait until the end of the night to drink water. Drink water in between. Look at me chugging bottles of water all throughout, and I'll really be like, Toby, I need water.
Kasi pa yung ayoko yung minsan, bibigyan mo na ng water, tapos, hindi, ayoko ng tubig. Right. So there.
We're not bringing you home. Pag tumatawag ka ng, what? You're drunk? What does that mean?
Well, what's a bird?
You're calling a bird?
Yeah, I guess you're making bird noises.
If you're texting your ex, you're too drunk.
Mm.
That's tricky. That's
Mm.
tricky. Because then sometimes some people just need looking for an excuse to text the ex.
Mm.
But that's a whole other topic.
Mm.
Let's talk about WandaVision. The sound you make when you're vomiting. Oh, wow. Oh,
Blah.
okay. I got to type out wah, wah. That works. That works. I understand. Thank you for that onomatopoeic explanation.
I suddenly remember that time I had to clean an elevator because the person puked.
Oh, I remember that. It wasn't a good night.
Yeah.
We didn't bring that person out? No.
Well, we still did,
But-
but I think that person stopped drinking too much. Medyo natauhan siya.
Hmm. That's good.
So yeah, that's my sharing, and I think that is it. Unless there's anything else that we haven't touched on.
Touch the dumb.
So that's our alcohol episode.
Alcohol talk.
We've
Where we
had
didn't drink.
we've had the duck twice. We're nearing a third, but it's still a few more minutes away. So I guess it's safe to say that's all the time we have for this episode. We had a lot of fun, and we hope you'll join us again next time.
If you have questions or suggestions for future episodes, feel free to fill out the Google form at bit.ly Baduy Pride Ideas. You can follow us on Twitter, No Shade, RG Sunico.
You'd also check out our blog, baduypride.com, for all the previous episodes and stuff about us.
Feel free to continue the conversation in the comments below. More of your alcohol stories. You can go over like the topics we did in terms of first drinks and whatever. And be sure to subscribe for notifications, whether on Facebook or YouTube, so you don't miss our next live stream. Once again, I'm Rocky.
And I'm Toby.
And this is
Baduy Pride.
Have a good Friday, everyone.
It's Feb na.